Hey YouTube! In this lesson we're going to get into the song and pattern mode and how to record things across different patterns. But before we do that, let's fix up our drums a little bit. As we saw in the previous lesson, we've got this wire connecting to the trigger reset. So as it's moving across, as soon as it hits the 4, it's sending a trigger signal through this and it resets, but as soon as I move that away, it stops resetting. So let's get rid of that altogether right now. And there's another one on the snare. So you see when it gets to the 8. Let's get rid of that. So now we can work with this in pretty much the same way we were working it in Technobox 2. So I want to throw in another kick on the 9 and another snare on the 13. And you're going to hear that that snare sounds different. And the reason for that is this is set to 100 on the gate, and this is set to 1 shot on the gate. And you don't need to worry about what that means, because I'm going to get into much greater detail on gates and envelopes in a couple of lessons. But I'm going to leave it the way it is right now. I just wanted to point out that it does in fact sound different, and you're not going crazy. I like the way that sounds, so it's staying. So we've got basically what it was doing before, except now we can have a finer control over it when we get into multiple patterns. And the way we get into multiple patterns is with the song/pattern section here. What you got up at the top is all of the various patterns that you can play in a song. You can have up to 256 different patterns. We're going to work with 3. So we've got the first step is playing the first pattern, and the second step I'm going to play the second pattern, and the third step, third pattern, and over here I'm going to set a new loop. If you set this to stop, it'll just stop playing altogether, but we'll leave that in a loop. And let's copy our patterns now from 1 to 2. So that goes to let you know that you copied it successfully. And you can unselect and select parts that you want to copy, so you can say, hey, I just want this kick or whatever. So now we've got the same pattern on 3 different patterns, and now we can change that up a little bit. I'm going to go into our third pattern here, and I'm going to throw in an extra snare here and another hat. I'm going to go to our second pattern, and you see I'm getting to that by hitting this thing. So now we're on the second pattern. I'm going to throw in another kick over here. See, it's just a little minor change like that, but those are really important because it keeps the ear interested. So when we go into song mode now, you'll notice the screen's changing with each pattern, so we can start changing things around as it's playing. So after you listen to that for a few times, and you get your head bobbing and your toe tapping, and this is really important. You really want to get into the groove, and your body moving around is how you're trying to keep time. And developing a sense of rhythm is way more important than anything I'm ever going to show you, or even any music theory. You know, as long as your toe is tapping, you can try to keep time and keep a beat going. So we got this going on. Once you get your toe tapping, we can start to throw in a melody. And we can do this now across 3 bars. So we're going to have a 3-bar melody, which is going to be different from our bass line, which is just 1 bar. And that's repeating that same, you know, over and over and over again. This is going to be something that's much more drawn out. And I'm using this 8th part here, which sounds like this. And that amuses me, so I'm going to leave it the way it is. And you know, once you've listened to the drums a few more times and you're really in the groove, all right, you can stop it. And now, as soon as you hit this record button over here, it's going to start playing on bar 1, which is pattern 1, and you can start to play around with this immediately. So here we go. And you see, as I'm playing around, it was just as simple as me dragging my thumb around, and it was doing all the recording for me. And now you can get in here. I'm going to turn off the record in case I screw up anything. You can get into it and play around with each of these steps by turning them on and off. So let's turn off the 1 and 8 on all of these. And you hear how that silence adds as much as adding a note would. You know, it's making a dramatic change all of a sudden and coming right back into the groove. And if you screw it up real bad, you can go back out to the song pattern thing, and you'll see under the utility we've also got a clear pattern, so we could completely wipe that out. But now we've recorded our bass line and our melody, and we've got this playing a unique drum pattern across all three of the bars. We can now go in and record our lead. So as you might recall, it was doing something like this. And you could just play it like, you know, we've been playing, where we'd let the drums and everything play on their own, and we just come in with it. But here's a little trick that I like to use, where I will record a specific note that I like. So let's see. Alright, I like that, so I'm going to record that. Alright, now it's going to play that continuously over the three patterns. If I turn off record, I can jump in now with my improvisations at will. And then it bounces right back to that one note that I recorded. All right, now we are jamming.